Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Dear Brother podcast, the Dear Sister podcast. The overarching theme is Welcome to Relationship Friday. We are here every Friday night. I'm looking for a great co host, and we have a great one tonight. Kimberly B is with us tonight. It's Relationship Friday, everybody. We're going to get into it tonight. We have a hot topic. This topic has been all over the place. I mean, who's financially responsible when it comes to relationships? Are men responsible? Are women responsible? Is it 50-50? Is it the man is 100? There's so many debates. As you can see at the bottom of our screen on Friday night, what we do is we fight to heal. There's so much nonsense going on. So many relationships falling apart based on these topics. And there's so much debate. Every day, I'm either on Threads or Instagram or something. And it's always, the algorithm is always pushing some nonsense about who's right, who's wrong. In fact, sometimes I think the algorithm makes us want to get to a place where we can't stand each other. But that's why I started Relationship Friday. So we put a topic on the table every Friday night. We're having different co-hosts, a different female co-hosts every Friday night to come in. And we're going to talk. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk tonight. We're going to challenge each other. We're going to challenge you. Listen, the chat is wide open. You can jump in the chat tonight. Share what you think. Share your experiences. Share your frustrations. Tonight we are talking about financial responsibility. Whose back is it on? You can share tonight. We're streaming live tonight on Facebook. We're streaming live on the Dear Brother podcast, the Dear Sister podcast on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're everywhere tonight. I think Kim is even streaming live to her Facebook tonight. So we're going to really get into it tonight. I am so glad you're here. And let's jump right into it. I'm going to bring in my co-host tonight, my guest co-host, Kimberly B. We're going to get into it. Let me bring her in the room, and then we'll get into it deeper. But let's bring Kim in the room. She got some things to say tonight. Hey, Kim.
Hello.
What's going on, my friend? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, it was a long day. You said you had a long one too, huh?
I did. I had some technical difficulties trying to fight with electronics that aren't agreeing with me today still. But you know what? I'll let that slide. And I had other things that happened that were great. So I'm having a good day.
That's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes. But
hmm
we're gonna you know what? Let me ask you this first. Let me do the formal stuff. My name is Christian, everybody. I'm the host of the Dear Brother podcast, the Dear Sister podcast, and we combine them both on Friday nights to do a big relationship talk. And tonight is our great topic about financial responsibility and relationship. Again, I want to remind y'all, whatever debate, we can debate tonight, we can get into it. You can disagree. We're not looking for everybody to agree. We want different perspectives. That's how we grow. But ultimately, just remember that we fight to heal. We don't fight to hurt. We don't fight to just make your point. Sometimes you can stand on your own point. You'll be left there standing by yourself. So the goal is let's make some points that help each other, lift each other up tonight, and just change perspective. You know, you may be right, you may be wrong. Listen, whatever it is, we want to get into it tonight. I usually ask all my co-hosts, look, what's the topic on your heart? What's the thing you really want to put on the table? And Kim said, listen, I want to talk about this financial thing. And her initial thought was, say a guy makes it, NBA, NFL, whatever it is, big business. Is it his responsibility to take over everything? Kim, let me ask you a question.
hmm
What made you bring that particular topic up? Was it an experience you had? Was it something you saw? What prompted you to want to put this on the table tonight?
To be completely honest with you, what made me bring the topic up was because for my podcast, I was doing some coverage for the Super Bowl and just being out and about around, some of the crowd and the athletes. And I started to notice the girlfriends, but then I started to pay more attention to like the wags, the wives and the girlfriends of fiancés of these athletes. And then over time, I started to notice that a lot of them are branding themselves and
Mm,
they're making their own money. And I think that's very fascinating. I think that's great because it's like, good, they're not depending. To me, this is my thought, my personal thought. I was like,
mm,
good, they're not depending on their spouse, for a full 100% ride. Like they're trying to also take care of themselves.
right.
And then it just kind of made me think, I'm like, do these women, like, even if they're just girlfriends or like if they work or if they don't work, do they even like what are their expectations? And I often
Right.
kind of wonder that. So that's just kind of like made me think and just see, because I knew that years ago, with me, I used to work with college athletes. I was an equipment manager for our football team, so I was around a little bit of the whenever some would hit to the next level.
Right.
And back then, like 20 years ago, it's like it was. I saw like women. I mean, it was just full on. They're like 100% right. I'm going to have your children, and you're going to provide for us. And to me, I'm like, I some, I won't lie. I've seen some men get bullied, and it's kind of like
Mm.
it'll bother me because I'm like, you're like these men were literally providing for some of these women, like giving them everything, and then they're being talked to like any kind of way and drug about. But I mean, who knows? Maybe there were times where the man was talking to them any kind of way, but it's just
Hmm.
kind of like all those things just kind of came in my head and just made me think of that. Sorry, I kind of
No, that's cool.
went
That's cool. Listen, you brought up you. That's a. I want to talk about the point you just brought up. From a woman's perspective, what do you think it is that when you talk about the bullying, like you see like how it's I think it's a myth that women don't do that. Like women don't act like that, which we all know like that's not true, right? Um as a woman, when you see a woman say bullying a man as far as finances, bullying him as far as taking care of all her needs, all her desires, all her wants. And I'll say it from a man's perspective too, but from a woman's perspective, a mature woman's perspective, like you are, what do you feel about that? Like when you see that, what does that make you feel?
It's worrisome. It's worrisome to me because honestly, the way I would feel, I would take it personally, mainly because it's like, you know what? I would go all these years like not talking to men that way and treating them that way, but I would sit there and I would watch them. But they would a lot of times they would just continue to go after those women, and I couldn't understand it. I'm like, is that the secret to them having a good solid relationship? To me, it just didn't make sense. But I'm just not the bullying type. But I don't know. Maybe I just got to the wrong. Maybe I like the wrong men. I don't know, but it's just I would just have girlfriends like in the past, like where they would just come to me and they would complain and complain, and then it's like you'd sit there and you would see the way they would treat these men, and I'm not saying 'cause I do take up for women. I do,
Yeah,
and
yeah, of course.
but I take up for people and what's right and what's wrong. And like if I see something that's just kind of ugly, and I would I wouldn't. I mean, I would say something about it, and I had in the past. I have defended men because I would see these kinds of actions happen, and I've
Hmm.
lost some girlfriends over it in the past because it's kind of like, well, you should choose my side, but then you see them 3 marriages later, and it's kind of
Mm.
it's like,
Mm.
I mean, like, was I wrong?
Right.
Maybe not, you know.
Jump in the chat tonight. Let us know what y'all think in the chat tonight. Have you all out there watching? Have you seen women bully men into financial duty? Um, and you know what you brought up another topic that you keep on bringing up great stuff. As far as this goes, you said why do men chase those type of women? That's a good question. That's a good question. And I want to put that also in the chat, guys. A question, why do men, why do we, I'm not going to separate myself. Why do we seem to chase those kind of women? The women who um is it the look? Is it a certain look that those women have that make us, is it the chase? And I'm gonna say from a man's perspective, because I've seen it, that a guy can have a very nice looking woman who cares about him and loves him, but then it's like this different woman with this figure and this way about her and the hair and the makeup
Mhm.
and the whole Hollywood thing that makes him now connect himself to this kind of woman or even chase her or allow her to do things to him that he might not allow another woman to do, but because of her look. I want y'all to jump in the chat. Let us know how you feel about that. Have you seen that? Have you seen women bullying men? We got two things in the chat that we're talking about. Have you seen women bullying men as far as taking care of them? And also, have you seen men chase a certain kind of woman? She may be no good, but is it the look? What is it that makes men really connect to those kind of women? Have you seen that out there, Kim? Have you seen where it's like, why is he chasing this type of woman?
Have I? I see it every day, like multiple times a day, and it's I can't like I don't get it. I mean, and it's just like, I mean, whatever. It's like if that's the back you're breaking, fine, like I don't care. But it's just like I just can't wrap my brain around it. Why it's like they get upset and complain because it's like this they're getting bullied, and and or these women are being mean to them, but it's like they keep going back. And but then I heard too, a friend of my sister told me she had
Mm-hmm.
a conversation with a friend of mine like years ago that she read a
Mm-hmm.
book, and apparently they said that men feel like women um care about them when they respond, when they react that way. And that's just
What,
the
like
weirdest
act
thing to
like
me.
wild or mean?
Yeah, yeah, this is the weirdest thing to me. But they said that the answer was that men feel like that they feel like women care when they react that way, and act mean and like bullies. They feel like the men care, that the men feel like the women care about them, and that's just the that's weird to me. But apparently it's a thing. So
But do you think the woman cares, or do you think that
I think
that man
I
might
think they
have
do.
mother issues?
I think the woman cares, but I also think that I think the man's just attracted to that. I don't know if it's, I don't,
Mm.
I never really thought about deeper if it's a mother issue thing. I always think about women with daddy issues. I've never thought about men with, that's interesting.
Well, we can jump into that a little bit tonight because
Yeah.
I no, share your perspective before I go into that. Share your perspective about the woman who does that. What do you think that is that makes her act like that? And then I want to go into what makes a man accept it.
What I think is honestly, I think it's a game. I think they've got this game kind of thing mastered, and it works. Because I'm not gonna lie, because I've done things so differently from a lot of my girlfriends for years,
Mm-hmm.
but they've always stayed consistently with people. But for me, I've just like always looked at things from like an ethical standpoint and a different lens. And I just always like to treat people the way I want it to be treated. But
Mm-hmm.
then I noticed I would have nobody. But then yet it's like if like any little bitty thing that would like they would find like any little thing to get set off by a guy and just go off on him. And it seems like the guys just get turned on by it. And it's like they'll just keep coming back, coming back. And so then I've noticed not too long ago, like I cocked an attitude with somebody that I was seeing like a couple
Mm-hmm.
months ago. And then when I did that and just gave him the cold treatment, I mean, it's like just keep coming back. And I was mean. I was pretty mean. I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
surprised he started talking to me again. And I'm like, okay, well, good thing you're in a different city, I mean, and that's all said and gone now. But it's just like
Right.
I couldn't understand. I'm like, I guess that's a thing. So I don't know.
What
Like I said, I function different.
that's a perfect segue into we got somebody in the chat. Let's bring up the chat. Let me see. Uh one of my best subscribers ever, one of the best community members on YouTube. Let me see. Yes, the answer is yes, because he likes to chase to see if he can get this woman since she's hard to please, but overlooking how it would be if you were in a relationship with her. Mm. What you
That
think
makes a lot
about
of
that, Kim? What you think about that? Let me read it again for the crowd. Yes,
sense.
because he likes the chase to see if he can get this woman since she's hard to please. Whoo! But overlooking how it would be in an actual relationship with her. What's your thoughts on that, Kim?
Oh, 1000%, because it's exactly how I see it play out. So it makes it makes sense. Like that's yeah, and now yeah, I mean, I co-sign on that 1000% because it now that like I'm playing it out in my head, like all these scenarios, it's yeah.
So guys out there, I want y'all to please jump in the chat and let us know what is it. I mean, I listen. I've been working with people all my life, right? So I think a lot of stuff we do, it goes back to last Friday's relationship podcast. Last Friday, we were talking with Dee Leggett, and we were talking about um, childhood trauma and how it impacts adult relationships. And
Mhm.
I'm going to venture out there. Somebody can jump in the chat and say, no, brother, you exactly wrong. But I think that that's trauma. I think it's trauma when a man is in love with the one that treats him bad. I think it's trauma. I think it's something he's seen somewhere, maybe how his mom did certain people, maybe how his mom treated him. And then sometimes it's just if it's not a trauma situation, it's sometimes, look, I'm going to go hard. I think sometimes it's self hate. I think
No.
sometimes it's self hate that will make a man. that will make anybody, a female or a man, then say, look, I'm going to pursue someone who acts like they can't stand me. But we see it all the time. We see it all the time. Whether, you know, I don't know what that is. Y'all jump in the chat, let us know different experiences. But I've seen some. A lot of times that comes out of hurt. That comes out of hurt, or that comes out of some men. I think it comes out of our pride to say, "Oh, she act like she don't want me. I'ma get her. She's the one
Mm,
that everybody wants. I'ma get her. She the one that
and
don't
I've
want
seen a lot of
nobody.
that.
I'ma get her."
Hmm.
Right? But I think back to the what the on the chat. I think the point was, um, let me see. The second part of this is big, overlooking how would be actually be in a relationship with her. Because it's one thing to like that in the chase, but most men can't stand that in a relationship. The same thing you
Right, and
love.
that's the thing. Yeah, it's like as soon as they get there, it's like they chase it and they get it. It's like, okay, I've got it. They're like, I've got this prize that I wanted. And then it's kind of like, okay, so you knew what you got before. You got the bullying and the
Mm-hmm.
hitting and the the cussing
Mm-hmm.
out on the hanging up on the phone and
Right.
you got all this stuff. And so now y'all are in a relationship. So you know what you signed up for. So bye. Like you signed up for that. And then so some people just they do it to themselves a lot. And that's the
Mm,
thing. And then oh, there we go. Feeling I noticed growing up. I didn't. Yeah.
that's
Sorry,
something.
I'd like I start reading the chat.
You see it? What is
Mhm.
it? What you see in the chat? What you got in the chat?
Hurt definitely, and then
Oh yeah.
feeling I noticed growing up. That makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, so it starts off with that trauma, feeling, yeah,
Yeah.
feeling unnoticed growing up. Yeah. Yeah, it's deep parts of us. It's deep parts of us that make us respond in certain ways. Let me see. Um let's go into this a little bit into this financial world a little bit. Um is we talked about something behind backstage earlier. We talked about Tiger Woods, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
Tiger Woods was worth $2 billion. They had one child. Him and his wife had one child. We're going to lay the foundation so we can get into this conversation. Him and his wife had one child, and she came from money. She was probably richer than him when they first got together. What she then wanted $1 billion, $1 billion with one child from him. What do you think that angle was? I mean, a billion, Kim, a
Mhm.
billion is a lot of
That's a lot of money.
cash. It's a lot
Mhm.
of cash. What do you think her angle was with that?
Dang, hurt him, which makes a lot of sense because I mean, like he cheated on her, and I forgot about that part. Then I start to remember. I was like, he cheated on her, and that's when a lot of that craziness started with that girl, that Rachel. You could tell. I remember. Because I have a pop culture podcast, so I remember like all that celebrity news stuff. So I remember he cheated on her with her, and I think like I really think that's what it was. Kind of like what you said backstage, because you said it like that was to hurt. Think about it. She comes from money that is literally half of what he had. I understand, yes, she being the wife and the child.
Mm-hmm,
Because to be completely honest with you, if somebody hurt me and they cheat on me like that, and of course they're a public figure and I become a public figure too,
mm-hmm,
I'd
mm-hmm.
probably do the same thing. Just
You,
out of hurt, probably. I mean,
I mean, because what other way would she hurt him but to try to get that cash?
right, yeah, because like I can't think of any other way, like because don't want to, I don't like to choose violence.
Hey, I think taking 1 billion out somebody's pocket is violent, Kim.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it is violent. Well, yeah, it is violent.
One, let me ask you this: Is it as could you as a woman being cheated on, could you justify the 1 billion? Like, could you justify 1 billion? Could you justify 500,000, 50 million? Is there any emotional justification for $1 billion? Is it that
I would
much pain?
say I would say you would have to like ask me like maybe right when the incident happens, and then probably maybe like a year from now. No, a year from now is probably still too fresh. Oh man. Um, I would say that's. Uh, I'm just going by myself, the way I've reacted to things that have been traumatic for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go for the juggler. So I'd probably go for half. To be honest with you, I'd probably take half of it because I would probably look at it this way. I was so devoted to you. I loved you. I gave you a child. I gave you
Mm,
all of me. I had your back. I helped come up with ideas. I did this. I did that. Like I helped. I did your laundry. I cooked. I cleaned. I did all these things. And then, whenever you were stressed, I tried to help you relieve. Like I've done all these things for you. And then you cheat on me, and this
mm,
is what I get. And then I get embarrassed. If you embarrass me in public, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, then I'm gonna embarrass you right back. So that's how I'm gonna take
mm.
yeah, half.
Okay.
So like if I were in that situation, if I were her, at that time, going over with raw emotion,
Yeah.
that's probably how I would react back
Yeah.
then. But then again, but now I've gone through a whole transformation myself. So the past 2 years, like me now though, if that happened to me, hypothetically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
the person I am today, I'd walk away and be like, take your money, and I could make my own, and I am making my own. That's just me where I am today. But back then, if I were her
Mm-hmm.
and like in that position, I would have taken half.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you on the flip side. Would you
Hmm.
feel the same if it was reverse? If a man, like, because you have a pop
Hmm.
culture show, we can go back
Uh-huh.
to say Mary J. Blige when her
Hmm.
man tried to take the cash off her, right? And it
Right.
was an uproar, right? It was an uproar. Now let
Hmm.
me put my caveat in here. I don't believe in taking nothing from a woman. You know what I mean? What I mean by
Hmm.
that is if I was married to a very rich woman and it didn't work out, I'm just gonna go ahead and stroll. I can't imagine saying you got to pay me per
Hmm.
month. I feel like that's clown behavior from a man. But I want to check the double standard. From a
Hmm.
woman's perspective, you have girlfriends and y'all have y'all chats. Would you feel the same if the woman had was the billionaire and say she cheated and the man wanted to take $1 billion off her? Would it be the same?
Oh, okay. For me personally, I'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, I would just tell him, it's what's. I mean, you gotta be fair. So I mean, as much as women supporting women, but women don't always support women. I know that's not really exactly true, but I mean, if he got cheated on, he was there, and the roles were reversed, then I think that he is entitled to take that money.
Mm.
So you got to be fair. Like
I'm
that's me.
see now. I'm actually surprised. I thought you was gonna come at that another way and say, "Yeah, no, he couldn't get that billion."
See, I'm like,
Well,
I'm like,
let
I'm
me well, okay. So then let's get into the prenup conversation then. When it comes down to financial responsibility, and we only half hour in the show, we got a good ways to go. But let's jump into prenup then. What do you feel about prenups? Do you think that the guy who has a ton of money or the woman who has a ton of money, do you think she should do you think the prenup? Well, let me check the chat before we get into that because I want to be able to flow in that. Let me
alrighty.
see. All right, we got some folks in the chat. Let's get into it. Um Meek Raw, let me see. Meek Raw is asking what the topic is. Meek Raw, the topic is financial responsibility in a relationship. It's the hot topic, it's trending. Some people say it should be
Me girl,
50
he's coming.
50.
Me girl's coming for me.
Yeah, no, he ain't coming from me. He's asking what the topic is. The topic, Meek Raw, we're talking about financial responsibility in a relationship. A lot of people say it's some people say it's 50-50. This is our next topic. We're gonna get into this. Some say it's 50-50. It's a big push out here now that the man should pay everything. It's a big debate, Meek Raw. So thanks for coming in, my brother. And we on it. We gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. Let me see. Let me go back and then we'll come forward. Our topic, remember this because my mind will leave it. We're talking about prenups. Let me see. Um, as a young man growing up, the girls look to older men and men with substance. You have nothing. and you are trying to learn how to be yourself and learn how to communicate with women. Very true. Very true. Very true. Let me see. You see the guys who always get the girl and try to imitate that, or just don't feel effective enough. So you have nothing self-esteem or willing to chase, hence the chase begins. Yes, the chase is something. The chase gets you in a whole lot of trouble. But yes, I think as men we do. It comes out of a low self-esteem. And sometimes we treat the woman like the trophy. We chase her to get the trophy. What I find
Mhm.
is, with us as men, sometimes when we chase it, we don't even want the trophy once we get it. And that's a whole
Well,
nother
yeah,
podcast. But go
that's what
ahead,
I've
go ahead.
noticed.
Flow on that. Flow on that.
And I've noticed that it's kind of like they would. I've all, see. I haven't seen that in a while, not since college. I
Mhm.
haven't seen that in a long time. Where it's like they would fight. I've seen a football player do that. This O line guy, he would just go after this girl, this one girl. All
Mhm.
these dudes wanted her, and then he finally got her. And then when he got her, it's like he had her for like a week, and he was like, "I'm ready for the next one." And it's like, and then I remember one of the guys asked her, like, "Dude, but y'all just started dating?" He goes, "It's the thrill of the chase, my man." And I'm like, you know what? I'm
The
like,
thrill of the chase.
mm.
That chase never work out. Let me see. Let me see. Meek Raw back in the building. My guy. Tiger Woods cheating scandal. He's a high value man. She never had a chance, unfortunately. He's a public figure who gets women thrown at them every day. Yes. Yes, he gets women thrown at him every day. It almost cost him $1 billion though, Meek Raw. What you think about that, bro? The question we had on the table when we talked about Tiger Woods, Meek, was when after he got caught, Meek, she wanted to take $1 billion off of him. Since tonight's show is about financial responsibilities, whose responsibility is it? Do you think it's fair, Meek, that she went after $1 billion? The man was worth $2 billion. Do you think it's fair that she went after $1 billion of those $2 billion? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Tamika, for getting that topic in there. Let me see, Tamika Cox. If a man makes it like Tiger Woods, does his spouse even have entitlement to his finances? That's the topic that they're talking. Okay, thank you so much. Let me see. Uh, we gotta turn We got to turn this comment section. Absolutely, we got to turn this comment section up. We got a heck of a show. We got a heck of a
I
show.
am all for
Yes,
it.
let's turn it up, Meek. We're streaming live, y'all, from the Facebook. We're streaming live from both of our Facebook accounts. YouTube, the Dear Brother Podcast, the Dear Sister Podcast, TikTok, and Instagram. So we in it tonight. Let's jump into it. Let me hit this last topic before we talk about uh oh, not fair, more like spite. Okay, so see, now we're gonna get into prenup conversation, but now we got to address this point here. Do you said it earlier that it's not fair? It was more like, yo, I'm trying to hurt this guy.
Yeah, out of spite. Because like I said, years ago, I would have done it out of spite. But now, since a praying woman, like I wouldn't, I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. That's just ugly. I would go for something, but not no, not I wouldn't do that. I no,
Especially
not
because she
now.
came from
But
money already, right? She came from money.
right,
I'm not
yeah,
listen, and
yeah.
I'm nowhere saying she don't deserve. That was her husband, and he's a very rich man. She was a very rich woman. Um, but I do feel like it was out of spite. I mean, that's a big spite. $1 billion is a big spite. But let's jump into this prenup conversation. What do you think about prenups, Kim?
I think if you take the emotion out of them, out of prenups, I think that they are valid. And I think that people should get them, especially if they honestly, I think they should get it just to protect themselves because you
Mm,
never know what happens. And like I said, you have to take the emotion out of it. Even though I'm one of those people, like I love people to the core and I see you for who you are. And I would hope and trust that someone would do the same for me.
mm,
But however, because of my own personal experiences, like
mm,
I've been involved in a DV situation where it's kind of like I, it was the whole thing was It was I was asked to move in with that person,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't ready to move in with that person, but because that person's mother reached out to me, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and do it. But the whole time he would not stop. It's like he just kept talking about how like you're living under my roof, and it just made it sound like I was a
Mm,
burden. And I'm like, you're the one who invited me to come to come stay here with you when I wasn't ready to come and to come live with you. And then it turned abusive. And it was then
mm,
literally I was just after that I was just kind of like, you know what, I don't want anything from anyone, so I just like I'm just hardcore now, just a person that just tries to provide for my own. And I advocate for people to provide for themselves. And I
yeah,
feel that if someone worked hard for a long time and for something, and I don't know, I feel like prenups are just important because now it's like because marriages nowadays, a lot of them don't last. Sad enough to say, it's like the institution of marriage
yeah,
isn't what it was like years ago. Like I look at
yeah.
my parents, and they were married for almost 52 years from before my dad passed away, and it's like you don't
Mm,
see things like that anymore. And it's
yeah,
just and that now it's like I think you should protect yourself with the prenup. So
yeah.
that's my opinion,
I,
especially if
I,
someone came from the started from the ground and built their way up, and you've got someone that's along for the ride and they really didn't do a whole lot.
yeah, yeah.
Prenup.
I hear you. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. That's what brings people to the station, to the channel. Everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. On YouTube, the Dear Brother Podcast, Dear Sister Podcast. Hit that like button. If you're on Facebook, make sure you go over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. I think what you just said brings is a good time for this point from Meek. Meek Raw. Let me see. Tiger Woods' wife. She didn't deserve that money. Ooh, from the rip. Okay, she didn't deserve that money. She don't golf. Talk your talk, Meek. He was
She was swinging
already.
that golf club on that car though.
She sure did swing that golf club on that car. She was already. He was already solidifying in his life before her. Facts. She just had the babies. One. I think they only had one. Meek.
Yeah, I think that one kid. Yeah.
They only had one. She got more rich after she divorced. Mission accomplished. Well, hold up, Meek. Now I got to disagree with
Wait,
you
I
on
think it
that.
is two. Wait, I think they do have two
They do
kids.
have two. Okay, my bad, Meek. They
I
do.
think.
They
Yeah,
we
I
gonna look
forgot.
that
It's
up.
been a while.
But my bad, Meek. They got two. But I gotta say this though, Meek. She already had money, a lot of it before she got with Tiger. And that's not to slight your point, but we want to be factual. But
Got
to
two
your
kids.
point, since she already had money, then why then take the billion off Tiger? She came from money. She took the billion. But how do we feel about that? How do we feel about a relationship where somebody's like, look, I'm gonna take this money. I didn't help you build anything. I didn't swing one golf club. I didn't shoot one basket on the court. I didn't catch one football. I'm gonna take this money off your passion, something you lived and bled for. Since most of these guys, the professional guys, been doing it all their life since they were 5 or 6 or 7 years old. Does a woman then have the right to come in now that he's 23, just signed his first contract, and say, look, I got a right to half that money? Well, the law says she has a right to. So we can get into that too, because a lot of men don't even get married because of this. A lot of men with no money don't even get married because of it. But what's our thought about that? Does a woman then have a right to then come in and say, look, what you worked for all your life, give me half of that? What's your thoughts on that, Kim? Is that fair?
No, I don't think. And like I said, I'm probably I might even be the minority, but I just don't think it's fair. Like the only way I think it, like I said, if she was there, like see, I still don't even think half of it's fair. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
because I just work for what I have, and I don't depend on people, but I don't think it's fair. Nope, I don't think it's fair, and I'm gonna stick to it.
I agree. I mean, I don't think it's fair either. And my stance on prenups is this: I feel like you. I got to take the emotion out of it because I don't believe that I want to have one. Because I just want to be down with my woman. I don't. I want to be with somebody that I don't have to worry about it. I'm good, right?
Mhm.
But that's if I remove the emotions. I think you should have a prenup because again, you build an empire. You know, I want to ask you
Oh,
this though. What if they build an empire together? We're gonna get right to that. Let me go back in the chat.
okay, yeah, yeah.
We going what if they build an empire together? Let me see. Burr in the building. Everybody hit that like button. Hit that like button on your way in. I agree. Alimony or some kind of settlement seems fairer to me. I agree.
Mhm. Yeah,
That
I
does
agree.
seem more fair than to take half my mit. That's wild, yo.
Mhm,
That's wild. Like that's wild.
mhm.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. Great point, bro. Let me see. Prenups. Meet Raw in the building. Prenups. Couples should sign because it always affects the man, since most of the time they're the breadwinner. It's like people want the benefits of marriage than the actual. Now, Meek, we got a rule. We got a. Let me say. Let me. We got a rule on this show, Meek, and that rule is when somebody drops a bar, I gotta drop a beat. So Meek, you just dropped a bar, my man. Here go the beat. You said it's like people want the benefits of marriage than the actual marriage. And to that, my man, you deserve a beat. That was a bar, homeboy. What's your
Is that
thoughts?
really?
What's your thoughts, Kim?
I have to agree. I really do. And it's funny because I honestly thought I was going to be, I thought I was going to be battling it out more in this in this live than I am right now. But I'm actually I'm surprised. But yeah, oh yeah, that was. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that definitely deserved to be because I agree because it's just because majority of the time, think about it, that's the way it is. And even now, like still today, like 2025, men are getting paid and they make more money than women, and they
yeah.
are the general bread providers mostly. So it's like I I agree. Me girl, he knows what he is for me. I agree. I don't know what else
You like that, Meek? You got
I'm
that
just
beat?
I'm shocked that it's like I thought it was I really thought it was gonna be like going to battle everybody all night, but nope.
No, you know why? You know why I can? Because honestly, this
Mhm.
podcast is for grown folks. And we fight to heal.
Right,
We
right.
yeah, we fight
Mhm.
to heal. We not in here on some nonsense and attacking because you can't heal nothing while you attacking it. You really can't.
That's right.
Um, so let's get into that conversation we will get into though about the prenup, right? What happens when you build with the person? Like for example, I'll give you an example. I
Mhm,
started this podcast 8 months ago, right? Um, my podcast studio was on that side of the room at the time. The couch is where I am right now. I was
mhm,
sitting on the couch. I was next to my lady on the couch. The whole podcast setup was right there. The lights, the cameras, action. And I kept on
mhm,
looking at it. I didn't shoot no podcast. I just kept on looking at it. Like I got to get over there. I got to do something. I didn't know
mhm.
what I was going to do, what I was going to say. You know how it is. You're a podcaster. And
Right.
so she's like, "Lo, get over there. Just go get to it, right?"
Mhm,
She bought me a brand new Mac Air and everything. Like, yo, I'm gonna take all your excuses off the table, right?
mhm.
Now, I'm building this podcast. I got 3 podcasts right now. Everything popping. I wrote these books and everything. Now, say I become a millionaire by the end of the summer. Do I have a right to say, yo, babe, you don't deserve none of this. You weren't behind the mic. But it's like, yo, I helped you get behind the mic. So what do you feel
Mm.
about that? What happens when a couple builds together? Does either one of them have a right to say what belongs to them if they decide to go their separate ways? What's your thoughts on
If they
that?
build together, oh yeah, if they build together, I think that's when they need to like go to court and just like and get that all kind of like figured out because how much input did she have? Like, did she have more input than telling you where to move your things or to or did she help you like edit podcast episodes or you know what I'm saying? Where we're
Right.
getting at?
Well, let
Like
me say
to me,
this.
it depends on.
She, to your point, she's never been behind this microphone. She's
Mm,
never edited a podcast. As far as this work, she's never been involved in any of this labor, right?
okay. Uh-huh.
Now, if I was an a-hole, I could say stand on business. You never had to edit. You never had to do a thumbnail. You never had to
Mm,
right? But
mhm.
would I have done if she didn't? encourage me to get at it and get on it. If she lit the spark behind this passion, then so what? She never did a podcast. There would be no
Mm,
podcast if she didn't put the
right.
spark in me. So you see, I would
Mhm.
say, look, what's mine is yours, in my opinion. And y'all let me know in the chat what y'all think. But in my opinion, I blow next week. I'm gonna make sure my lady is straight. Not only because she my lady, but if I came up on what she encouraged me to do, I think I would be a total like just bum to be like, yeah, it's my microphone. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, okay, now, say for instance, if she told you to start a podcast and you got on and start a podcast, then yeah, then I'd say then y'all are in it together. Then because if you didn't have that brainchild to begin with, and then she's the one that put it in your head, then that's a whole to me that's a whole different story. Then I'm like, that's when, yeah, you probably still have to go for it, maybe, or maybe y'all can divide it with a split, divide it evenly in half. Want to split? I don't know. Now you know because I keep thinking about it because I have a good friend of mine. He's like one of
Mm-hmm.
brother to me. Whenever him and his wife split, it was like one of the most amicable divorces I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally just I mean, he took the horses, all the animals, and she took you know the cats and bought like the house, the other half of money and bought another house, and
Mm.
it's but but that was a different career thing too. It's they just I don't know.
Well, if they had some horses, that means they had some money.
Yeah, they did have money.
Let me jump in the chat right quick. Burr. Everybody hit that like button. Let's bring people in the station tonight. If the financial assets were gained during the marriage from work done during the marriage, he put that capital. I see you, Burr. Yeah, I see you. You didn't sneak that one in there. During is in all caps. If the financial assets were gained during the marriage from the work done during the marriage, then it's fair game. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. Let me see. It's almost impossible to put a monetary value on having a spouse. Whew!
That's a good point.
Dang, hold up, Burr. Hold up, Burr. Cause you just, my God, bro. You just every bar deserves a beat, my man. Goodness gracious, Burr. I gotta lean back to that one, bro. It's almost impossible to put a monetary value on having a spouse. Burr, bro, if you ain't married, you need to get married with that attitude, homeboy. You'll make a heck of a husband. I'm telling you right
You
now.
sure did. Mhm.
Right? Right?
I know, right?
Exactly. Let me see. Um, let me see. Indirect support still counts. It does. It does. It does. But horses do cost money. Absolutely. They had bread. But you know what I liked? I like the fact that they were amicable about it.
Well,
That's big. That's big. Because a lot of
it
people won't
was,
be.
and
Yeah.
it was surprising. It's like, and they're still friends to this day. It was just funny
Mm,
because when he talked about it, when she moved to Florida after she got done her stuff and he stayed in California. He's like, "Yo, fam," he goes, "civil divorce." I said, "This is the
mm,
most amicable civil thing I've ever seen." Because I mean, they literally, and I even talked to his ex-wife, and she's like, "No," she's like, "We just, I, I don't know how they did it, but they did it." And like I said, it was the most
mm.
civil, the most unugly thing I've ever seen.
But you know what? That's love. Even when you are realize the relationship won't work, that's love. Only love makes
Yeah,
you say. That's two people that are unselfish. That's not like Tiger Woods' wife that's like, I'm gonna get
mm.
you, sucker.
Yeah, you're right.
Let me go back to your original point. Would you expect your partner? Okay, you and your partner both working, right? And you hustling, he hustling, y'all bring it all together, and then boom, whatever he's doing blows up, and this cat is rich. Would you expect him to let you quit everything you're doing and he just take care of everything from there on out? What would your expectation be?
Oh man. Uh, See, I wouldn't want him to 100% take care of me fully because you
Mm-hmm.
never know. Like that's just me. Like I just can't. I would even still try to hide and work. and
Mm,
just like because I feel like you just never know. You never know in life. I just don't.
mm,
I'm scared just like just to have just the idea of I don't know. I can't have I have a hard time having the thought of putting 100% financial control, um, like, for someone to take care of me 100% fully. I don't know. Do I sound like a crazy person that was abused? I
no,
don't like,
no, no. You sound like a woman who is looking to make sure she's securing herself.
yeah, because like, I don't wanna be in a situation where it's like, I because I want to make somebody happy, I moved in with them, and then it turned abusive, and then I'm left like out on the street, like homeless, because I was a proud person, didn't want to tell my family. And it's embarrassing because I've got cousins that are celebrities in Los Angeles at the time I was living in San Diego. And it's like I didn't want them
Mm,
knowing what was going on, but they knew something was up because they nobody was hearing from me. I was hiding out. But it's like
mm,
just I was on my own because it's like I was just it was a bad situation. It just beaten and thrown out on the street. And it's kind of like, okay, now I've got to fend for myself and figure it out. And after that, I was like, you know what? I was like, I shouldn't have had to depend on him to begin with. And I
mm.
really didn't. It was just, at first, it was just me just being, it was everything just happened so fast, like within a few
Yeah,
months of coming from Louisiana back to San Diego. And it's a whole different
yeah.
situation than I was than the first time I was there. And it's just like, yeah. And then just to know what I had to do to pick myself up and provide for myself and just work after that, I was just like, I don't want to expect a penny or a dime from anyone because the way that
Mm,
man, like, and like I said, he asked me to move out there, but the way he held it over my head, every little thing, it was just like he just would not stop. And it was just like, and I would cook for him and do everything. And I'm like, I was like, I offered to pay you money, like for rent or whatever. And it's like, you didn't want to take it, but you still sat there and complained. I just never want to be in a situation like that
no,
again. So I'm
I
like,
feel
I'm
you. I
independent.
feel
I
you.
take care of myself. It's just
Yeah.
it's
So you
traumatic.
speaking, your point is more coming out of that trauma.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
probably yeah. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, but we all been through some type of trauma that changes our mindset of how things really, really, really could be. And I think we all carry stuff with us that makes us operate like that. If you were in a loving, caring, proven relationship, would you be okay with that man completely taking care of everything and not you bullying him like we were talking some women bully men into it,
uh,
but like would you be okay with saying okay, well, you got it.
no, and that's just me because I would say I would be okay with maybe if you're gonna say you've got it, I would be okay with maybe about like 85% at the most, at the max. But I'm still gonna like I have to try and figure something out for myself because what something may happen. He may have dropped dead of a heart attack, and he may not even have all this paperwork and stuff put together. May not have and will like I may still be and end up with nothing. And I'm gonna need to know how to provide for myself and make money, and that's how right now, even now, I've got different streams of income. Like I know
Right.
how to provide for myself and figure.
Yeah.
It's just
You want to have your back.
yeah, yeah.
I got you. I got you. Let me see. um Bert, married 11 years, May 30th. Congratulations, my brother. 11 years, bro. That's real talk. Congratulations, my man. Let me see. Um, if anybody, let me throw this up now. Let's pause for the calls. Let's talk about right quick. Let's pause because I'm about to get into Meek Raw brought up something, and he says he's worried about it switching the topic. It won't. We'll hit this point, Meek. But I want to bring up your podcast. Tell us more about your podcast. You got a podcast called The Pop
I
Culture
do.
with your twin.
Yes. Yep. We are the pop culture green room. And it's funny, we started because at the time I was living in San Diego and she was in New Orleans. We don't have a whole lot in common, even though we're twins, but the most we would talk about was like celebrity news, gossip, different stuff like that. So we're
Mm,
like, why don't we have a podcast? And we started one and here we are a little while later, but it was funny because because we've got our cousins we had one of our cousins came on and she Deborah Pratt, she directed and she was the creator of the show Quantum Leap that came out, the
hmm.
original series, and then she
Yeah.
was the executive producer of the reboot. But she did directed a lot of big things and acted and everything. That was funny because we end up like I end up getting requested to come on TMZ, and I got excited and told her about it. She's like, "Wait a minute, you have a podcast?" And it was funny because we didn't want to say anything because
Mm-hmm.
we. And then her daughter is Troy and Belisario, also my cousin. She started on the show Pretty Little Liars, and
Oh
she
yeah.
stars on the show On Call right now. But
Mm-hmm.
it was funny because it's like they're so supportive of us, but we were like, oh, we're trying to grow still. We just didn't say
Yeah.
anything to them for a little bit. And so, but then her mom came on a podcast about, I think the month after my dad passed away. So
Mm.
yeah, but we're growing and stuff. We've had like some Olympic athletes on and
Yeah.
Cirque du Soleil performers, uh all kinds of people on. We've got a Broadway actor from the Wiz, a good friend of ours and stuff. So
Mm.
we're having fun. So yeah,
That's
come on
good.
down.
Where can they find your podcast?
Yes, you can find us on YouTube. We are at the Pop Culture Green Room. We are on TikTok, and it is the dot Pop Culture Green Room. So that's a little tricky. Instagram also is at the Pop Culture Green Room, and Facebook. We also have a Facebook page, Facebook
Mm.
group, the Pop Culture Green Room.
Hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff. Y'all go check out the Pop Culture Green Room. It's super fun show. They talk about very fun things. Um, let's get let's get back into it. In fact, while we here, gentlemen, I just dropped a book, my newest book to men. Y'all see it over my right shoulder. But you can go grab it tonight. Dear brother, the blueprint to becoming the man of your own dreams. You can go to christianwinners.com and grab that book tonight. You also see another one behind me called Home, Where Hurt Men Heal. That's what I built the Dear Brother podcast for. It's for grown men to keep on growing. All right, that's what we do for grown men to keep on growing. But I just dropped this new book, Dear Brother, the blueprint to becoming the man of your own dreams. Go check it out. Y'all can go grab it tonight at christianwinners.com. You can hit that QR code. It'll take you right to it. You could buy the book while we're watching the show right now, everybody. Go check it out. And for the ladies out there, I got Sola Sarah. I wrote this book for women after I eulogized my mother. This book lifts women up. God gave me an assignment to lift women up, to show them who they are outside of being married, outside of being a mother, who they are. Ladies, look forward to Thursday nights. I'll be spending time, brother and sister. We'll be doing a live show with the ladies on Dear Sister Podcast, just an advice show where y'all can come in and ask all kinds of questions y'all want and get advice from brother. I'll share the wisdom with y'all and whatever y'all need. Let's get back into the comments. Let me take that down first. Let's get back into the comments. Tamika, in a proven relationship, yes, your partner can support you totally to free you to pursue your passion. She will no longer work to provide, but pursue passion. So it's not just about the 9 to 5, is what Tamika is saying. That if she finds a man, if she has a man that loves her, that takes care of her, then what it does is it allows her to go pursue the passion she wants instead of being stuck behind a desk for a 9 to 5. That makes sense. That makes sense, and that's exactly for about 6 months. That's what my lady did for me. I was a principal of a middle school, and it was very stressful and it was very undone and wearing me out. Then I called her and said, "Look, I'm out of here. I can't do this." She said, "Come on home." I came on home, and she held me down while I built these podcasts. So hey, while we talking about this tonight, we talking from experience, y'all. We talking from experience. But let me get into this, and this is good because you got the pop culture green room, and I think this is a good topic. This is a brand new topic that just came out. Meek Raw brought it to us. I don't want to switch topics. It's okay, my man. But this might be for another show for you. It might be. But we're gonna jump into it tonight a little bit about Beyonce's mama. Did you hear about this, Kim?
I did because one of my friends had brought it up to me, and I was like, man, I guess it's a song she's singing, but it's just I was surprised. I mean, it didn't surprise me at all whenever she and Matthew split because Matthew wasn't the best person, but I
Mm.
was really surprised when this divorce came. Whenever she was like saying she was divorcing this man here, because it seemed like he seemed like a good guy. Like I didn't
Well,
know a
she
whole
said
lot
he
about him,
was.
but yeah, and I guess, but yeah, just she was just. I guess she's supposed to live her best life, and I guess her best life is just without him. That
Well,
actually shocked me when I heard it.
let me finish reading this. I don't want to switch topics, About Beyonce's mama at 71, divorcing a good man because her marriage didn't serve her anymore despite his good qualities. From a woman's perspective, and we got Tamika in here, any other lady, anybody in the room, the chat is wide open. Y'all can jump in the chat, share your thoughts at any moment. What you think about this from a woman's perspective? Any ladies in the building? I'm gonna start off with you, Kim, since you're my co-host tonight. 71 years old, divorce a man that you said is a great man to you, but it was more that you wanted, or he wasn't serving. I don't know. I think I read some earlier where she said he wasn't. I don't know. I don't. I can't find the connect because she was saying how such he's a good man. But what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts?
So I think honestly, it's like if she's not happy, then you shouldn't be locked in something that you're not happy about. To
Mm-hmm.
me, I think it's sad because he seems like such a great guy. So I'm sad for him. But it's like if you are not happy, I think you should make yourself happy because and be in a situation, put your allow yourself to be happy. And if she's not happy, then get out of it. Like I said, I'm sad for him. He's a great man, but it's just like life is short. Life is short, and I mean, I know I want a partner. Maybe she doesn't, or maybe she wants a new partner. But it's just like I don't know. I was like I said, I was shocked because she went through all that stuff with Matthew, and for a long time was single. Then she had this man, and then I don't know what happened. I guess she feels her. I guess she feels her cup is full. Maybe.
Mm. And she needs a new cup or a cup filler.
So Tamika's comment.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Tamika, Tina needs to go sit down. Period. Everybody, that was a bar. So every bar, it's a beat. My goodness, Tina needs to go and sit down. In the story, Tamika says. Nothing to talk about. Every bar needs a beat, everybody. In fact, I feel like, damn, at this point, we might need a moment of silence. Let me see. Meek Raw. She was Matthew Knowles for 30 years. Beyonce's father manager. He was lying and cheating on her for years. But she gets a good man, and now he isn't enough. These women are horrible. Ooh. Eee. Ew.
Well, but look, but we were saying though, it's. But hey, look, nowadays though, men are running around saying that they're the prize too. I've been dealing with a lot of that too lately, where it's like where men are saying that they're the prize
That
and
men
that
are
they need
okay.
to be chased and everything. So I'm over
Um,
here hollering about equal stuff, but yeah, I'm aggravated because now I'm aggravated because men are saying that they want to be the prize.
Let's talk about that for a minute, though. Meek, yeah, that would be a great next show, bro. I think that I got to see who my co-host is next week, but that would be a great show. Talking about, can a woman be pleased? I don't know. A lot of men feel like women cannot be pleased. It's impossible to please a woman. That's the feeling out here. Let me see. It's a good next show, Meek, and thanks for coming through, bro. I really appreciate you. Hey, Tracy Cohen, thanks for jumping on, my sister. I'm glad you're here. Let me see. Um, Tamika, let me see. A whole and complete mess. Tina knows. And Tina knows, she had Tina Knowles' throat tonight. Honestly, some women is so messed up, they can't appreciate a regular guy. This is an example of good men not being appreciated. I think Meek Raw might agree with that, Tamika. Because you know what? We talk a lot about men being raggedy and men being no good. It's a lot of good guys out here who get treated very badly. Very
Right.
badly. We can't just ignore that fact. Let me hit this chat. We'll jump back in, Kim. She going to need help up the steps. I'm done. I'm out. Hey yo, I'm out. I'm done. I can't. See, you lucky my cameras follow me. I leave the room right now. Goodness gracious. She's going to need help up the steps. She's near diaper stat.
Somebody needs to back away from the keyboard. Back away from the keyboard now, sir. Back away from the keyboard.
Meek said, "Y'all said it's Friday Night Live, baby, and I'm in here." She's going to need she's near diaper status. Every man who wants her will want that insurance policy at the end of the day. Listen, I can't say I disagree. I think at 71, you have a good man, and some women are still in their 30s and 40s and can't find a good man. And for a woman to say, I have a good man, but it no longer serves me, like
That's
that kind of
bothersome.
talk is wow. Like, what do you mean it no longer serves you? Like, that's crazy talk. Let me see. Tracy Cohen, yes, not every woman is not every woman is the same, but what was her reason for not being happy? She didn't
So I want
say.
to
She
know.
said this guy was great. It just wasn't serving her
Mhm.
anymore. And see, that kind of language is young girl language, in my opinion.
It is. It is because that's what younger women generations are saying. I'm finding more women, especially like in their 30s and 40s, are saying it, not in their 70s. But
Mm.
it's a new thing. It's a new. That's something people are saying. Because first I heard a lot with like substance abuse, people saying that like alcohol like, doesn't serve me anymore. But now I'm hearing them saying more of it with like relationships.
Yeah, like a person
Personally,
doesn't serve me anymore. See,
yeah,
but
yeah,
to
yeah.
say that you have a good man, but it's not serving you, that's the question. What are you looking for then? And that's a question a lot of men are asking these days. What does a woman really want? Like it's like we want attention, we want love, but not too much because then I won't like you
Mm,
anymore. We want you to pay attention to us, but not too much, or we're calling you thirsty. I think a lot of men don't know what to do anymore, to be honest with you.
mm.
Now, you said something, and this might be a point where we can debate a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
You said a lot of men think they're the prize, right? Okay.
Lately, I've been finding that. That's been they've
I
been
understand.
the
Yeah,
price.
it's a lot of conversation around that. I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
one point about that.
Mm-hmm.
Men are the prize. Well, let me say why.
Explain.
Let me say, yeah. Give me it. Thank you very much. Thank you. If women are sitting, every woman is this the hand, right hand? Do you get the ring on, the left hand? Left hand.
Left hand.
Okay. Every woman wants that ring, right?
Mm,
If every woman's sitting back waiting for that ring, she can't marry herself. She's sitting on a shelf waiting for somebody to come take her off. Wouldn't that make the man the prize?
yeah, to me, I don't like I said. I just have this whole, and it's only because of my past experiences, the way I've been treated,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like I just feel like, and I think that's I've had men just they just acted like they were the prize, and then I don't know.
Well,
I don't think. Mm,
let me say it this way. I think because I think we might be talking on two different levels. Not this
maybe
young
so.
people talk on the millennial talk on the internet.
Hmm.
The prize where a man is saying, "You come date me, you bring me gifts, you don't have no expectation." I'm old school. If I like you, bring you flowers. I'm going to take you out, plan the dates and all that. So on the internet, they're talking about where a woman should plan the dates and a woman. I don't believe that. Now, would it be nice for a woman to say, "Yeah," but that's a whole nother story. But I believe in the old school version of liking a woman, pursuing a woman, and all that. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to marriage and a man beginning a family, a man has to begin that family. A man has to ask you to be his wife. A man has to bring you into a covenant with him, right? So I see in a sense where the man is the prize because if he's if he's not, then do you marry yourself? You're not gonna marry your girlfriend sitting next to you waiting on the same ring you waiting on. So
Okay, all right, you
I
shift
think a
my
good man
opinion.
is
All
a
right, you
prize.
won. You won. You okay, that you made a valid point. And I usually don't shift that quickly, but yeah, that you all right, yeah, you won. That makes sense now that you broke it down that way. Because I mean, that's okay. For instance, well, I'm not gonna put a personal business out there, but no, like yeah. I guess it does make sense. But I guess I'm trying to look at I'm trying to look at it and like look at it in a different lens.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying not to look at it like in the millennial, like the whole like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
young people lens, and so I'm trying to like look at it like at an old school type of lens. And then when I look at it that way, it does make sense that a, a man is the prize because I mean me as a black woman, an educated woman with a degree that's knows how to start her own business and do all these things, it's like I want a man of the same kind of caliber or
Hmm.
greater. So that yeah, that does make yeah, okay, you're right. All right, you won that one.
No, no, but and I don't want to. When I make that statement, I'm not making that
Mhm.
statement as if a woman is just this scallywag who's no prize. I'm not saying that.
Hey, oh yeah, no, I
But
know that. Yeah. Mhm.
I think the prize conversation is going so far toward women that now women don't treat a good man like he a prize, like he's worth nothing. Like just come pursue me, come give me the world, and I don't have to be anything but pretty. I think it's going too far where the man is not a prize. Like we're just. But let me bring this another stat. In most states in our country, it's like a 12 to 1, 15 to 1, sometimes 21. In Atlanta, I heard
Well,
it's almost 30 to 1, male to female.
right. Yeah,
So,
which is why I won't not move there.
oh, absolutely
I won't
not. But,
mm-mm.
but, but when you look at those numbers across the country, how is a man not a prize? If it's 30 to 1, 12 to 1, 15 to
Mhm.
1, 18 to 1,
Yeah, see, and I didn't think about it that way. And if you think about it a
a good man.
different way, yeah, it makes sense.
Because there's plenty of men that's going to treat you bad,
Yeah.
but a good one. Let me see. Let me jump back to the chat, and then I'm going to go back to our topic for right quick. Tracy Cohen. Yes, not everyone. Let me go. Oh, she another time. Okay. All right, Tracy. Just because he's a good man, doesn't mean he's good for her. Well, she was. Well, okay. Maybe there's more to the story, and her age shouldn't be a factor. Okay. Her age shouldn't be a factor.
Mhm.
Okay. Um. Well, I will say this to your point, Tracy. She was with this man. She chose to be in a relationship with this man because he was a good man. So it's you can first meet somebody and say, okay, they're a good person, but they're not for me, and you don't get with them. She got with him and bragged on how great of a man he was. So I don't know. Like you said, we there is more to the story that we'll never know. Um, but let me ask you, and this is not a challenge. I just want you to add to the chat more, Tracy. Um, why do you think her age shouldn't be a factor? Why do you think your age shouldn't be her age shouldn't be a factor? We're gonna move on with the show, but I want you to talk to us about that, Tracy. Why do you think her age shouldn't be a factor? And I'm not saying it should. This is not a challenge. It's a just you adding to the chat. Um, all right. Oh, we're an hour and 10 minutes in. Goodness gracious.
I now
Let me
realized
see.
I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about let's talk about gender roles and double standards when it comes down to finances, right?
Mhm.
Um, let me see. Let me see the question I want to ask you. Let me see. Um, when it comes to gender roles, do we expect men to share um the financial success more than women? Or if a woman makes it, is she expected to do the same that a man if he makes it?
I think she should because that's just the way I am. I like to share my things. I like to share. So I would share.
Hmm.
So I think she should share because he would share. I know he
Hmm.
would. So I would do the same. It's an
Hmm.
equal relationship. It's supposed to be a partnership. Partnership.
That's a big word right there. Partnership is a big word because when we go from, okay, so this is Relationship Friday, but when we start talking about partnership is a strong word. And I think I'm starting to believe that partnership should really precede relationship. Because if we start looking at
Mm,
relationship through the lens of partnership, then I think a lot of these debates would go away. Because then it won't be about who's taking
yeah.
care of who or who's giving more. If you're a partner in business, and this is for women and men, if you're a partner in
Mhm.
business, you're a partner on a team, you're a partner in anything, we understand partnership until it becomes to relationship, right? Everybody understands the
Mhm.
concept of partnership. Then all of a sudden we get in a relationship, and then it's like, well, who's gonna take care of this and who's gonna take care of that? Well, what happens in partnership? And I think that a lot of people, we bring our own ideas of what a relationship is going to be. But what if we look at it through a partnership lens? Would our idea change about what that actually means? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that, like you said, if you add that into the equation, I think there would be a lot more peace and a lot more resolution. I feel like there would probably wouldn't be a lot of maybe like bad breakups. I feel like there would be a lot more resolution. I never thought of it that way until you brought it up.
Yeah,
If that
yeah,
preceded it, because to me, I feel like partnerships seem to work better than relationships. And
yeah. You know what else partnership does? It doesn't lean so much on feelings and emotions, right?
mhm,
If two people are
yeah,
getting some money together and changing society, they're not. They're like, okay, I don't like you today, but that's cool because we're doing this. But in a
mhm,
relationship, it's like, I don't like you today. We should get divorced. I don't like you today. I don't know if this is working for me. Or like Tina
mhm.
Knoll said, this is no longer serving me.
It's not serving me.
Serving me. Forget you. It's no longer serving me. Because that is a big it does become a double standard because people don't expect women to do what they expect men to do as far as relationship. Like if you're a millionaire, you take care of everything. Most if a woman becomes a millionaire, it's like, oh, good for her. She don't got to take care of
Mhm.
nobody,
Yeah, it's
but
true.
her. Yeah. Um. Let me see. Um. Let me go back to the chat. Okay, Tracy's back. Good. Thank you, Tracy. Just because. Okay. I was going off the comment about she should be satisfied because she's 71. Okay. Something similar to that. Uh-huh. But age shouldn't be a factor in figuring out if the relationship is not moving or growing. I agree with your statement. I don't know if it matches Tina Knowles because Tina Knowles bragged on how good of a man this is. But your statement makes sense. A lot of sense, Tracy. But age shouldn't be a factor in figuring out if the relationship is not moving or growing. Yeah, I agree. 100%. 100%. Let me see. Um, let's look at let me ask you this before we wrap up. And I want to say this. I want to say this out there, everybody listening. Everybody hit that like button on YouTube. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the share button too. We're growing something great here. Um, Success doesn't make you a savior. And I think that's not only for relationship, even and you know a lot of celebrities, you've been in that world. Um, I don't think people understand the pressure that people apply to the people that make it. Like everybody wants everything from you right away.
Mhm,
And that's a lot of pressure for you to suddenly becomes everybody, you become the bank. And I think
mhm,
that that can really take people under when they start to feel like they don't matter more than what they have anymore. Like what they have is what everybody cares about. Um so I don't think people are you should be responsible to carry everyone just because you made it. I think
right.
in a sense there still needs
1000%.
to be some boundaries somewhere. Like boundaries still matter even when you become successful. Boundaries should still matter, right? I believe.
Mhm.
Um, Let me ask you this: have you ever had someone expect more from you just because you? were a certain way or got a certain raise or a certain breakthrough in life? Did you ever experience somebody that expected you to just be a certain way toward them because of what you acquired?
Yeah, actually recently, I've since I've been, my kind of like my career's kind of taking off. I'm finding more people who've actually um who took themselves out of my life, or they weren't really like friends to begin with. They're
Mm,
all kind of creeping up now and asking me if I could help make their child a star or a
mm,
singer, different thing. They're asking for favors like that. And
mm.
it's like, I'm kind of like, wait, didn't you unfriend me on Facebook like 3 years ago? Then now you're gonna come and send me a friend request, and then you're gonna ask me. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm finding it. People are bold. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not finding right now that they're asking like for money, but they're definitely trying to ask for like connections and stuff. And they're expecting it, and then they get mad if I uh don't make some phone calls and pull some strings, or try to get them to some backstage of some show or some concert, or
Mm, mm.
or a table somewhere. And it's like, I'm like, that's not on me. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like, what did you do for me?
Yeah. 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 Out there in the chat, let us know if you ever experienced someone expecting more from you because you had some type of come up in life. No matter what the come up was, what was that like for you? Have you out there and everybody listening? Have you experienced that before? What does that feel like, and how did it impact you out there? Let me see. We got somebody on Instagram. Pops, the problem isn't that men feel that they are the prize. Are we back to this? Uh huh. It's that men who don't want to commit, provide, protect, and secure a woman because they are the prize. Ooh, okay. We should both share. It's a man's ego that's the problem. Ooh. Some feel the need to compete, and if they can't, they weaponize your love for them. Goodness gracious. That I gotta read that again. Pops, the problem isn't that the men feel that they are the prize. Uh-huh. Is that men who don't want to commit, provide, protect, and secure a woman believe that they are the prize. Now, I want to
That's
bring you
deep.
back in on that, Kim. What's your stance on that?
That is that's deep, and now that makes sense. Now it's got to be there, because to me, it's a more of a mental factor behind it, and
Mm-hmm.
that to me it makes more of like a mental factor behind it. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
and now it makes that now that okay. I like that. To me, see, that's where my vision goes to where it bothers. That's where it bothers me, where men think that they're the prize.
Okay. Yeah,
Is like,
because of what
because
they
I think
won't do.
I think yeah.
And that is whack. And I'm gonna say that as a man, and I think most of the men in these chats, TikTok, we're everywhere tonight, can agree with that. I think that men are a prize, but I don't see where a man who brings nothing to the table then still thinks he's a prize. I completely agree with that. I agree with that. But I also agree on both sides. I think that we both got to be the prize, but we got to make ourselves. Why are you a prize? I don't think people, men or women, don't ask that enough, right? Why am I if I'm gonna call myself a prize? What makes me a prize? And I don't think that's a question somebody should ask you. I think that's a question you should ask yourself before you declare you're a prize. Like, okay, so what? Who decided that, and like why? Because listen,
Mhm.
a lot of times in my life, I thought I was a prize because I was a good man and I wasn't doing what other people were doing, right? But then I looked at my flaws and said, okay, does that part of me make me a prize? No. So I think that if you're going to be a prize, then you got to check the parts of you that don't make you so prizy. Like because we all carry that. Let me let me see. Let me go to our wrap up right here cuz I want to um Kim, give your final thought tonight on this subject of um financial responsibility in relationship. And you shared a story tonight about what
Mhm.
you've been through. What would you say
Right.
to women out there? Because we're on the Dear Brother podcast and the Dear
Mhm.
Sister podcast. What would you say to the sisters? And then I'm going to address the brothers. But what would you say to the sisters out there? I'm going to put you up full screen. What would you say to the
Oh, for
sisters tonight
sure.
about financial responsibility in relationships and what wisdom advice would you give to those women out there who are maybe been in that situation you've been in, or
Mhm.
women out there just trying to figure it out? Share your thoughts with the ladies.
I would say my final thoughts would be definitely put yourself as number one and take care of you because you never know what can happen. Like what kind of circumstance you can have, like a sudden death of a partner, or you can just be thrown out to the street affairs. Like all kinds of things can happen. And I feel like no matter what, because at the end of the day, like you'll always be your best defender. Like no one's ever gonna defend you or love you or take care of you more than you. And I learned that the hard way. And it's like you have to, like, I feel like, and I mean, like, that's coming from the heart. Like, you have to protect yourself because at the end of the day, like, that's all I'm saying. Like, you save yourself and financially secure your bag, like, make your money and take care of you. And you can do it. You can do it. Like, you don't need a man. Like, you can thrive on your own. And
Mm,
that's and I say that with love, with a lot of it.
mm.
And that's where I'm at.
Good stuff. Gentlemen, what I'm going to say to the gentleman tonight about financial security and whose responsibility is in a relationship. I believe that you should get with somebody who's willing to be a partner to you in whatever you're doing in relationship, be a partner with you in it. But I also want to say this to a lot of men too. Don't allow the fact that you're successful and then become emotionally manipulative to a woman because you're successful. Don't ever use what you have to control a woman that you're with. If you're with her and you got it, then be willing to share. It doesn't take the responsibility off of her to share as well. But if you got it, love her, love her. But don't get to a point in the relationship where you feel like because you hold the bag that now you can do and say whatever. Because then that person's not your partner anymore. They're just something. So don't use what you got to come up. Because I'm gonna tell you what the scripture says is this: that pride come right before a fall, bro. So don't let your money make you a monster. Understand that who you are in here, who you got to become in here is way more important than what's in your pockets. And don't let what you have outside of you control this or control this. Because that stuff comes and goes. But who you are never fails you. Thanks for listening to me, brothers. Thanks for listening to me. Listen, y'all, if this pod blessed you tonight, drop a comment, tag a friend, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the like button. And we're here every Friday night talking on a different topic. We're gonna have different co-hosts every week talking on different topics. Last week we talked about how childhood trauma impacts adult relationships. Listen, this is where grown people grow. This is where grown people have grown conversations. It's too much attacking going on all over social media. We have a space right here
Mhm.
where that's not happening. We don't attack. We just grow together because there's a lot that men and women don't know about each other. And I think we use our differences as weapons of war instead of humbling ourselves to say, okay, so what is that? Let me learn about you. Because this is the truth. Men don't have what women have, and women don't have what men have. And the whole purpose is to come together, not to ball up our fists and fight each other. Because if we do that, then our kids lose and society loses
Mhm.
too. So I'm really appreciative of everybody hanging out. Well, let me not leave before I see this other chat in the show. Um, Tracy Cohen, good words. Thanks, Kim. Mm-hmm.
You. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
And let me say, Tamika Cox, so sorry you experienced that situation, Kim. Yes. You should have never had to face that. You should never had to face that. And look, thank you for your openness to share that. I always try to create a show where people feel safe to share experiences that speak to the topic. And thank you for doing that. I'm very transparent on this show, and I'm glad you felt the freedom to be that tonight. I really do appreciate that. Last comment, Tamika
Absolutely.
Cox. Thank you so much. Great show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We put the work in to have a great show. We're so happy about it, y'all. Um, Listen, y'all, we're out of here next Friday, 8 o'clock to 9:15. I don't know what the topic is going to be. You'll see me promote it at some point. If you want those products before we go, make sure you go grab them. Men, my new book is out. Go grab it, dear brother, the blueprint to becoming the man of your own dreams. And also, everybody, before y'all go, I have a free book on my website, free ebook, removing the shame from your life. If there's a lot of people out there dealing with shame, fear and doubt. I think shame is the most harsh one because shame is not a teacher, it's a terrorist, and it will hold you by your throat and make you feel unworthy of pursuing and being great in life. I got a free book on my website, ebook on my website. You make sure you go grab it tonight, christianwinners.com. Go grab that book. I taught a 3-part series and then I wrote the book on it. But listen, I was teaching out of my own pain of dealing with that. And I want people to be free from shame. Hey, y'all, we out of here tonight. Remember, like we end every show, yesterday is history and tomorrow is a mystery. All we have is right now. What you going to do with it? What you going to do about it? Everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling out. Kim, thanks for hanging out, sister. I really appreciate you tonight. Thanks for spending time with us on this show. You are deeply appreciated.
For having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, y'all.
The time was had. I had a great time.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Hopefully you'll come back again and share some more. And remember, everybody, go check out the Pop Culture Green Room with Kim and her sister. They discuss some fun topics. We'll go on there. We'll laugh like we did tonight about Tina Knowles. Some crazy things going on tonight.
Yeah, we actually just covered the Diddy trial with our friend as an attorney.
Oh, they're covering the Diddy trial right now, and that's big, y'all. Y'all go check out the Green.
Yeah, we got an attorney. Yeah, that.
Yeah, go check it out, y'all. It's a great show. It's a great lady. Y'all go check it out. It's a great time, y'all. Make sure you walk this life out with no fear, no shame, and no compromise. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon, and we out of here. Peace.